Hello. I've been learning some languages lately. A language called something like Laklutsi. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the languages of Neptune, the planet Neptune. Never been there. I don't really plan to leave my home planet or my home country, you know? Simply for the fact that I'm just so used to where I live that it just is what it is. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, huh? But they do often say where it's like the guy, the Queensland, something like that. I don't know. It's very hard to pronounce because humans are not exactly the best when it comes to their languages. You know, because they're very more advanced than ours, at least in terms of understanding more controversial topics. They don't really have problem with climate change because their languages literally never evolved like the way we evolved. Like, basically, in our planet, we discovered the Stone Age thousands upon thousands of years ago. They went way past that. In fact, they were about our advanced about by the time we started to get to the Stone Age. Just a couple thousand years before we started to get to our Stone Age, they were already about the advancements of 2026 to 2027. By that time, by that was how far they gotten by that time, and now they advanced by a lot. They recently discovered time travel on their world. When I mean recently, I mean this year, meaning this Earth year, they discovered how to privately and publicly commercialize time travel. They just recently discovered that. Big discovery. Big discovery on their world. So yeah, Neptune really got you on that information, huh? Really makes you wonder. Like, they have concept for things that we can't concept yet because we haven't got that advanced yet. And by the time we do get the advanced of how advanced they are now, by the time we do get to how advanced they are now, what will happen inevitably is that they will go on to another level of existence, that kind of thing. And it's getting big out there. It's getting big. Man, but I just knew what they have done. Yeah. The 2120 pandemic. Yeah. It's really something special, isn't it? Yeah, I'm aware about your pandemic. So how's that going? How's that pandemic going? Not so great, I assume. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that fucking crazy? Out there in a fucking pandemic, wondering what the hell's going on in the world. Like, I'm trying to understand why humans have so many different languages. Like, why don't we just invent at least a, ultimate reading and writing system, you know? That kind of thing. Like, why can't we just invent a writing system for everything? For, like, anything, For all languages. That kind of thing. Should have had one by now. But then it's like, what kind of writing system, Do you want a alphabet writing system? Do you want a characters writing system? Do you want a, what do you call it? A pentagram writing system? Do you want a I don't know. There's many writing systems out there. Do you want a, what's the word? Like, there are many different ways to make a writing system. Do you want big symbolism? How will you make complex ideas? How will you get people to read, or in a specific way? How will you express things? Don't know. Do care, though. Do care. Anyway, I gotta mention that there are some things going on in Earth. Some canon events that are bound to happen. Probably not within my lifetime, but it will happen within yours. Even if you are the most know-nothing NPC, as they tend to call it in my lifetime, a side character nobody, even if you're somebody like that, there will be at least one major, like, big time, major, super important, major historical event that you will be able to fully witness from beginning to end within your lifetime. And you will personally be there to witness it from beginning to end. At least just one. Even if you don't even realize it, even if you don't even know it at the time, you will experience it at least once. Doesn't matter if you're younger, older, or whatever. You're going to at least have one of those once. And I have that more than once. Or maybe a lot more than once. But at least statistically speaking, by, human logic, that's where it goes to. What do I know? I'm just somebody with an idea, with a thought. Do you think people who speak in other languages don't actually know what they're saying, or they do know what they're saying, but because it's just not a certain language or whatever it may be, they look at us like we're gibberish? They look at us like how foreign. They look at their own words, how we would look at their words. Is it something like that, or is it just like English is just kind of, a language default in the world? I don't know how to explain it, but me language good is the closest thing I can come up to. Because I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I could have had an idea, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I do. I really don't know. I really wish I had an answer. wish I had an answer. You know, there are these people, these girls, so to speak. Now, I'm using it this way because, you know, the whole modern thing or whatever. But cisgendered women, if you want to be, you want to be inclusive about it, they tend to think that because they heard one philosopher one time, that means all of a sudden they know the true meaning of the universe. Like, no, you really don't. The only thing you understand, and I know this sounds stereotypical, the only thing you understand is not being an evil person. Okay? At least not trying to be. And why is that stereotypical? Because they tend to interpret that as, oh, are you talking about going back in the kitchen? Dog, you're one of those kind of women that if I put you in the kitchen, you will burn the toast. You know? Just by touching it. So I think you need to learn some good ways to cook. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that women are stupid, okay? Or that they always belong in the kitchen, okay? Because there are some women that are like, yeah, they should not be cooking. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't learn how to cook, not just as a woman, but or a man too, if you're a man as well, what they call a cisgendered man, learn to cook, okay? For just in case, emergency purposes, or just, you know, having food if you need food or you want food, I guess. But don't give yourself too much food and don't give yourself too little. You obviously don't want to give yourself too little food because then you'll be starving, but then you don't want to give yourself too much food because then you'll be so fat that you kind of lose all your food, and that becomes a big problem, literally, you know? And, man, I really wish I could speak other languages other than just English. Not because I hate speaking English, but because I want access to understand what the fuck these people are saying. Because if I knew what they were actually saying and not just going off of translation or going off of interpretation, I think I would have a feeling that they would be saying things that doesn't get heard in the translation or something like that, you know? And it just really gets to my head with all this stuff and everything. And like, they said the world was gonna end. They thought the world was gonna end in 2120. Not 2020. That year already happened, at least in my, things going on here. But, you shall know that when it comes to philosophy, you guys suck ass. You know nothing. You wish that you could want to like philosophy. You know? You just don't. The only time you actually think is when you're in a shower or something. That kind of thing. And even then, you drowned it out with screen time and noise. By that I mean music often, you know? But it's like, oh, it's so good, yeah. But it can not make you think very well. You might not realize it, but it does affect you. You know? Even this video does affect you in some way. It may not be like personally, which I hope you're not interpreting this video personally. You know, we're not, I don't know you, you don't know me. I'm neither your friend neither your enemy. So, just know that. And also, like, I get so pissed off. I look it to myself and I go, yes, yes, yes. Shotgun in the shells, you know? And they're all over the place. They don't know that I have a black passport, black American passport, you know? Don't ask why I have it. I just do. But it's not like I stole it. I legally own that passport. Obviously, I am not going to be showing that passport because I don't want to be exposing myself. And, yeah. Well, it's not like I directly work for the government, but I work for the government in the semi-sense, like, oh, they think I'm on their side. And I don't work for any other country, you know? Or anything like that. No. What I'm doing is how should I say, trying to make something, and that something is I don't know, what's the biggest thing I could go for these days, or your days? World domination? I don't know, that's a little too much. No. World nationalization? Maybe. By that I mean turning the world into one nation, one country. But it's a thought experiment. I don't know how well it will work out. How well it will pan out, because the EU sucks ass. The EU knows this. The people of the EU knows this. You know? The countries that make up the EU know this. The governments know it's bad. The citizens know it's bad, but they keep doing it because, oh, let's just keep the yellow and blue around because, oh, Russia, or something like that. Like, yeah, sure, Russia's a threat and all, but with the EU, yeah, that's probably a more bigger threat to Europe than any Russia or United States could be. And why am I talking about Europe? Because I'm just saying for an example, you know? And then there's stuff like, South America, there's the countries of North America, there's the countries of Africa, countries of Asia, Oceania, and in the future, because I'm assuming, the countries of Antarctica, you know? Because we have our buzz, we have our world, our treasuries, and they don't know. Maybe I could be a dictator, but they said it's either a page or a chapter in the history books of what I'm about to do in the future. But you know what I'm gonna do instead? I'm going to make it an entire genre of genres worth of large-sized, big, thick book libraries. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? The year 10,000. Not 1,000, 10,000 is going to be an interesting time. That's after the year 9,999. If you're using the Gregorian calendar, I'm assuming. You know? Interesting. You know? A very long time from now. But that is the time where I'll just be getting started. Like right now, I'm in the beginning, or I'm in the early phases of getting started. But when that year comes, when that time comes, that's when I'll just be out of the beginning and just in the new start, just in the starting. And it will take a long time to get there because I have to go through the canon route. I have to physically wait for that year to happen. You don't understand. I have to wait for it. You, on the other hand, just so happen to be alive during that time. And all of this could have been avoided if they just left us alone. If they didn't have to start a war. You know? They didn't have to start a war with what is it called? What did they used to call it in my era? Israel? No. Israel is more of the obvious one. No. Switzerland, maybe. No. That would be Argentina and fucking South Sudan again. And then some parts of Asia, that one particular part of Oceania. And then, I guess Mexico with itself, if that still exists. And then, basically just quite a bit of South America. You know? It gets on my nerve how much these people think they can just rule the world despite the fact that their groups, the groups that they control everything for, are getting mad or getting dumber or fracturing. And these smart people, these rich people, they're trying to get their kids smarter than everybody else. But here's the thing. Number one thing about drug dealing is that you don't try to get high on your own supply. And guess what these guys are doing? They're getting high on their own supply. Yeah, they might not want their kid getting a phone till they're 16. But that doesn't stop the problem now, does it? No. Because they're either eating ramen on the Tom shop, on the Bob shop, or whatever you want to call a fancy soup restaurant. Or they're using barbecue sauce to collect their own food that they hunted. Sure, you hunted that. But we'll never know about what we are doing. And by we, I mean me and you, the viewer watching this. They'll never fully know. They'll never fully know what I did. What I have done. And this world, it won't just be this world that won't just figure it out. And by the time you do, it will be way too late. But by the time it happens, you know, the historical events associated with me, it won't just be the world that has to, the earth, that has to figure this out, that has to find this out, that will eventually find this out, but the universe. I will send it out to many other worlds and many other places. Names and groups you probably never heard of. I've never heard of. They've themselves never heard of it. These groups. Who are they? Who knows? Could be evil. Could be good. Could be a mix of the two. Could be completely neutral. Completely xenophobic. Don't know. Can't say. It's a whole other universe out there. Not a whole other universe. It's a whole universe. The universe you could explore eventually if you give it enough time. Even if you give it enough time, humans would have colonized and start invading other planets. It's just hard to imagine humans conquering their own planet, let alone many. But if we ever had the technology to do so, yeah, I kind of see why that could be a problem. Especially for any Death Stars, but that's fictional. That's fictional. But you know what's real? Black holes. And you know what they are? They suck up things. That kind of stuff. They're very big. They're very slow. Not even light can escape from it. Or at least slow in the way that I know that they're slow. At least the way that I'm aware of. You know? And, yeah. You shall know no way to the Nether Realm. Or the Shadow Realm. Ooh, I could send you down to the Shadow Realm, but you kind of have to invite yourself there, you know, in order to get in. But I think you get the idea. And before I wrap this video up, you can share this video if you want to share it. You can subscribe if you want to subscribe. You can hit that notification bell if you prefer. And see what options are available. And if you're going to dislike, click the dislike button twice. And if you're going to comment, you can comment any answers, questions, thoughts, ideas you may have. Anything you may come into your mind about. I don't know. I'm not you. I can't dictate what you can and can't do, and when you can and can't do it. You know, like, I'm not your boss. I'm not somebody who says, hey, do this thing now or you get fired. You get fired. Fired. Did you understand the rules now? I think you did. But I'm not sure. Maybe one day you'll understand all of this. Maybe one of these days this will all have meaning to you. But for now, I want you to remember this. They do not stop. They do not care what group or any kind of, thing they're a part of, even if it's their own. If you give them a chance, they will try to take over the universe. They will try to come after us all. So please, become actually smart. Don't just think yourself as smart. Now, you're allowed to think, but if you don't actually get yourself smart, you're not going to be able to think in the first place. Alright? Do I make myself clear? I certainly hope so. Because I don't know what else to say. Anyway, like I said earlier in this video, I gotta wrap this video up. But again, they're coming for me. So, yeah. See you guys later. Before it happens. Long centuries from thousands of years from now. Okay? It will arrive. It will happen in a year that I can't remember. Well, that I can't imagine. It will happen in a date that I don't even know will exist. Alright? But it will happen. Armageddon will come. I shall see you later. Or probably not, since I'll probably be long gone dead before that happens. Alright? So, I am out of here. Bye.